Guys in the A-gap.
They're down at 8. Here comes the pressure. Running away from it is Sanders. He's looking long. He's got a man. Caught at the 10-yard line. Bonds. He's down to the 1-yard line. It'll be first and goal for the Browns. He beat Darnay Holmes for 53 yards.
Say that again.
Guys in the A-gap.
They're down at 8. Here comes the pressure. Running away from it is Sanders. He's looking long. He's got a man. Caught at the 10-yard line. Bonds. He's down to the 1-yard line. It'll be first and goal for the Browns. He beat Darnay Holmes for 53 yards.
Do you believe that?
Time. I repeat, time. Tell everyone it is your time to shine, Shedeur Sanders. Wow. Just wow. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Shedeur Sanders winning his first career NFL start for the Browns. The Browns were able to beat the Raiders by the score of 24-10. Shedeur Sanders ended up throwing for 209 yards, 1 passing touchdown, and 1 interception. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So, here it is. Were you surprised to see Shedeur Sanders win his first NFL start? No, I wasn't. I literally called it to you guys last week. I said in my upset alert, I said the Cleveland Browns were going to upset the Las Vegas Raiders. I saw the Raiders were favored by 3.5, and I knew that line was way too big for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders suck as a football team, and they absolutely proved that on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. But I also knew that Shedeur Sanders was going to go play some solid football for the Cleveland Browns, and clearly Shedeur Sanders looked like a coachable football player out there. A lot of people criticize Shedeur Sanders because he has too much of a head case mentally speaking, but it seemed like on Sunday Shedeur Sanders took some hard coaching from the Cleveland Browns. Or maybe it was from myself, because I gave Shedeur Sanders some advice as to what to do on Thursday, and it seemed as if Shedeur Sanders watched my video during the week, and then he went out there and followed my advice. I say that because I said for Shedeur Sanders to avoid taking sacks if possible, which he absolutely did. Shedeur Sanders only took 1 sack. I'm proud of that for Shedeur Sanders because that was his biggest weakness coming into the NFL draft. A lot of people, including myself, have criticized Shedeur Sanders for taking too many sacks. I consider sacks to be a quarterback stat, so for Shedeur Sanders to only take 1 sack throughout the course of a game, great job. The second thing that I was looking for in Shedeur Sanders was attitude throughout the course of the game. I thought the attitude of Shedeur Sanders was pretty good. Like I said, I wanted him to be confident, not cocky. He did exactly that. I like how Shedeur Sanders provided energy on the sidelines, and the Cleveland Browns looked like they were ecstatic to watch Shedeur Sanders play football. To be completely honest, the Cleveland Browns look like a way better football team with Shedeur Sanders at the quarterback position compared to Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel is just clearly too limited to play quarterback at the NFL level. I don't understand how Dillon Gabriel was a 3rd-round pick by the Cleveland Browns. I understand why Dillon Gabriel was receiving playing time ahead of Shedeur Sanders. I don't agree with it. I've never agreed with it since day one. But look, you take a guy in the 3rd round versus you take a guy in the 5th round. Well, the 3rd round guy is probably going to get the reps most of the time. I understand that shouldn't have been the case, but it's not about what should have been. It's about what happened. And clearly, Dillon Gabriel was a 3rd round pick. Shedeur Sanders was a 5th round pick. So Dillon Gabriel was always going to get the first opportunity to crack the starting job. But like I said, good job to Shedeur Sanders for providing positive energy on the sidelines. You could tell Myles Garrett was so excited to see Shedeur Sanders play at the quarterback position. When Shedeur Sanders threw that deep pass to Isaiah Bond in the first quarter, you could just see the Browns' energy erupt on the sidelines. That's when I knew that, hey, the Cleveland Browns were going to indeed win this football game. I mean, I already knew the Cleveland Browns were going to win this football game prior to this game starting, but it pretty much more or less confirmed what I thought was going to happen. I also want to show you guys this clip of Antonio Pierce trashing the Las Vegas Raiders, specifically Tom Brady, for why the Las Vegas Raiders did not draft Shedeur Sanders in the 2025 NFL draft. He talked about how if it was up to Antonio Pierce himself, he would have drafted Shedeur Sanders way before the 5th round. He said this during an interview on the NFL Today pregame show. Rolled the film.
He was one of our top choices. If I were to stay there, there's no way he goes to the 5th round. I'm making that choice and the decision that we're drafting. Mark Davis was on board with that. Our organization was on board. We believed in what we saw with Shedeur and saw enough. Obviously, what the situation I dealt with the quarterbacks. But one thing about Shedeur that I think we see all the glitz, the glamour, hitting the watch and what time it is and all that is. he's born for this. His pedigree is that of for moments of this magnitude that he's going into. And again, it's against the Raiders team that's struggling, right? But the guy plays well. It's just that he's Deion's son. And we overly criticize this kid from day one. And it started in the draft. And again, you might not like his persona. You might not like his aura about himself. But Cleveland does. Every time he comes to the game, those fans, they go nuts. They go nuts. And he's a guy that I think is going to bring some excitement. I think he's going to bring some energy and some life to an organization that has struggled for so long at the quarterback position. And you can see where it doesn't matter when he gets in the game, everybody stands up. And I expect him today to play well.
Wow, talk about a scathing indictment on Tom Brady. Obviously, Tom Brady joined the Raiders organization earlier this year. One of his first moves was to fire Antonio Pierce, and now for Shedeur Sanders to win his first NFL start against the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, that's certainly ironic to say the least, because Tom Brady wanted no part of Shedeur Sanders. Skip Bayless called him out for it months ago. I didn't know whether or not the rumors were true, but when there's smoke, there's fire, and it seems pretty clear to me that Tom Brady wanted no parts of Shedeur Sanders on the Las Vegas Raiders. And we also know that Tom Brady interfered with football operations as to who to sign and trade for. The Las Vegas Raiders attempted to sign Sam Darnold in free agency before Tom Brady nixed the deal. Tom Brady said, we're going to go ahead and trade for Geno Smith. Tom Brady is the reason why the Las Vegas Raiders didn't draft Shedeur Sanders. And if you didn't believe the rumors out there and all the smoke that was coming out, Antonio Pierce should have more or less confirmed that thought process for you, because Antonio Pierce was actually someone who worked in the Raiders organization just last year. He already said that he wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders at the quarterback position if it was up to him, but clearly people in the Raiders upper management did not feel like that should be the case. Obviously, Tom Brady did all he could to avoid taking Shedeur Sanders if possible. In fact, they traded for another Browns QB on the roster shortly after the draft. They traded for Kenny Pickett, who was one of the quarterbacks on the Browns roster. I also was talking about how Shedeur Sanders needed to learn how to beat the Blitz. Well, he did absolutely that. You look at that 3rd and 8 play, first quarter, it's 7-0 Browns. The Raiders send an all-out blitz. Shedeur Sanders rolls out to his right. Then he throws an absolute bomb downfield to Isaiah Bond. So I definitely thought that Shedeur Sanders did a pretty good job beating the blitz. He looked much more prepared compared to what he was in the last game. But that's what I said to a lot of people. It's different playing quarterback when you're coming off the bench versus when you get a full week's worth of practice with the ones. Because when you're coming off the bench cold, you're not really prepared. They're not going to really run your plays that you want to run. Whereas if you get to start for a whole week, well, you get to actually run the plays that you are comfortable with. And guess what? Shedeur Sanders looked a lot better running the plays that he was able to prepare himself with throughout the week. Credit to Kevin Stefanski for getting Shedeur Sanders ready to play in his NFL debut. I thought Shedeur Sanders aced his first game. I thought he looked pretty good out there. And let's see if Shedeur Sanders parlayed that into another opportunity for the Cleveland Browns at the quarterback position. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, I'm starting Shedeur Sanders at quarterback again against the San Francisco 49ers. He should be enough as to why he should get a second start for the Browns. So that is why I was not surprised to see Shedeur Sanders win his first NFL start, as I knew the Browns would have an upset win over the Raiders before the game started. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinNashTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinNashTran, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinNashTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video. Comment down below. Check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy talking.